Emily. It's 3 o'clock and it's a beautiful day. I'm really still not sure about this new live thing on Facebook, but it seems I'm live now. So over the next few days, I'm going to be talking to you about how to resist the desire to snack all the time. And which is obviously a huge temptation whilst in lockdown, especially if you're working in the kitchen and the fridge is within reach. So yesterday I explained all about blood sugar balance and how important that is for stopping cravings, really. And that's what we're talking about with snacking. When we snack, it's usually when our blood sugars are low. Obviously, some of the reason for snacking could be habitual or psychological, but something like 75% of our cravings are driven by physiological needs, and that all relates to your blood sugar balance. So your goal throughout the day is to keep your blood sugar balance as stable as possible. And the way to achieve that is what I'm explaining with 6 golden rules. So the key is to choose foods that release their energy slowly and gently so that you don't have a spike in blood sugar followed by a crash. And yesterday we talked about not leaving big gaps, because obviously if you leave a huge gap between eating, your blood sugar is going to drop. So rule number 1 is don't leave big gaps between meals. And rule number 2, which I'm going to talk about today, is have protein every time you eat. Now, in my 10 plus years experience of nutritional therapy, this is the thing that makes the biggest difference to how people feel. It makes blood sugar balance manageable, it keeps your energy stable, and you may not realise the meals where you're not eating protein, but I can guarantee those are the ones that are followed by blood sugar lows and cravings. My dog is scratching at the door. That's what that noise is. I'm going to try and ignore him. This is obviously the week of live disasters. Yes, he's wanting a snack. That's where the snacks are kept for him. So protein, why does it have that impact on your blood sugar balance? So protein is a really complex molecule. It takes the body a long time to break it down to release the energy and its properties that we use for all kinds of things. So it's a very important part of our diet. In terms of blood sugar balance, its role is to slow down the release of energy from everything else in the meal. So every time you eat, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, or a snack, that your food should be a combination of protein and slow releasing carbohydrates. So there's lots of sources of protein. Most of us automatically think of animal protein. So that would be meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and dairy products like cheese. But there's a huge plethora of vegetable proteins too. So beans, lentils, chickpeas, nuts, seeds, soya are all really good sources of vegetable protein. So whenever you're thinking about a meal, identify where the protein is in that meal and then think about everything else that you're having with it. So some really good ideas for each meal. So for breakfast, you could have eggs or yogurt, or you could have granola with a high level of nuts and seeds in it. For lunch, you could have a salad with tuna in it, or beans, or cheese, or a soup made from lentils. And for dinner, most of us already think in terms of protein. So you could have salmon, any form of animal protein, or a bean stew, bean chili, chickpeas. And then for snacks, this is where people might need a bit more help. It's about making sure your snacks are a combination of protein and slow releasing carbohydrate. So hummus is a fantastic source of protein because it's made from chickpeas, which are vegetable protein. So hummus on an oat cake. So I'll go into this a bit more in another talk, but oat cakes are a really slow releasing form of carbohydrate. So hummus on an oat cake, or nut butter, So cashew nut, almond, hazelnut, peanut butter on an oatcake would be a good snack. Some cottage cheese with some crudités, so some raw veg would be good. A piece of fruit would be your carbohydrate, and then you would offset that with a handful of nuts or seeds. So there's lots of ideas for making sure that you have protein with your snacks. And if you start to do this, you'll find that you're much less likely to crave sweet things. And if you have protein with every meal, you're much less likely to have blood sugar lows in between meals. So maybe think about what you're eating over the day. If you want to keep a food diary, that's a good way of identifying when you're having protein and which meals you might be lacking it in. And there's loads of ways of raising protein in your diet. So yeah, that's it for today. If you've got any questions, please ask. But really, for me, this is the change that you could make to your diet that will have the biggest impact in the shortest time frame. So yes, eat protein every time you eat, whether it's a meal or a snack, and you should see your desire for fast releasing snacks diminish. Okay, that's it. So see you tomorrow, and thanks for listening.